Happy Camper Radio starts in 3, 2, 1. I am so happy and so glad to be back with you folks. Hello, everybody. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper, and this is the Happy Camper Radio Show, episode 145. Wonder where I went to? Folks, it's the flu season, and I haven't come down sick in, I want to say, at least 2 years. But Friday a week ago, I felt this coming on, and by Saturday morning, it hit me with vengeance. I was down and out for the count. And I don't have to explain to anybody what the flu can do to you. It makes you miserable. It makes you want to just tell the world to take off somewhere. Yes, that's exactly how I felt. And I did what I possibly could to get myself better. You know, and I know there is no magical button that you can press to make the flu go away. You've got to let it run its course. And that means staying home, getting your rest, drinking lots of fluid, taking medication, doing what you need. And in some cases, you can knock it out in a couple days, but some cases, it takes a little longer than that. And that's precisely where I have been. I was sitting here in the studio catching up on a few other things that I had to do behind the scenes this past week. And so many times I just wanted to throw the microphone switch and get here and start running my mouth. But I had that frog in my throat. It wasn't going to work. No way, no how. But I'm back and I'm feeling a whole lot better. And on today's show, we're going to be talking with somebody who can tell us how important it is to protect your investment. Do you own an RV, a truck camper, a pop-up camper, a motor home, a fifth wheel? It doesn't really matter. If you bought your product new, or in some cases used, chances are you sunk a whole lot of money into it, and you want to make it last as long as you possibly can. Well, today, Len from RVCamperCovers.com is going to talk to us about some exciting products that he has and be able to share with you what you can do to help protect your investment and help it last for many, many years. Len is waiting in the wings, and we're going to be talking to him shortly. You can get in touch with us here at the Happy Camper Radio Show by calling 404-537-2267. That's 404-537-CAMP. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker, add us to Circles on Google+, and of course, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've made it so convenient for you to reach out to us any number of ways. Go to our homepage, www.happycamperradio.com. You'll find all of our social media icons over on the right-hand side of the page. Click on any one of them, and you'll connect up with us. Take the studio tour. Take a look and see what we do here behind the scenes. Also, any of our previous episodes that you haven't caught up with, you'll find them right there at happycamperradio.com. Also, check out some very important camping tips to help you along the way anytime you plan on going on a camping trip. Let me run over here to the shout-out window. I've got some folks I want to say hello to who signed up with us on social media. We definitely want to recognize them. First of all, to Jenny Carr Shepper. She likes us on Facebook. Mike Russell in the UK. RV Adventures. Glamper Van US. They're following us on Twitter. To George in Arizona. And also to Kevin Pitts. They've added us to Circles on Google+. Thank you all so very much for joining us. We're so glad to have you on board. And more importantly, thank you for being a part of this great Happy Camper Radio family. Would you like to be a guest on the program? I definitely would love to have you. Get in touch with me. Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com. Are you a camper? Are you into camping? Definitely, we need to talk. Get in touch with me. Once again, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com. Folks, I have an interesting story here I want to share with you. I came across this here recently, and in fact, while I was out sick, I was reading this here in the news, and I just felt that I had to share this with our listeners. It's a local story, and it affects a Boy Scout troop in South Forsyth County. Now, that's our neighboring county, which is about 30 or 40 miles away from our Happy Camper studios. This young Boy Scout troop was about 1 or 2 years into existence, and these young men between the ages of 11 and 17 years of age all got together from the very beginning and started doing some fundraising to buy the camping equipment they needed for their Boy Scout troop. Now, they took in personal donations and did fundraisers. They did car washes and popcorn sales, all kind of things like that. And in no time at all, they raised the $10,000 they needed to buy their camping equipment. That's a lot of work and a lot of effort from a very young, dedicated group of scouts. They even had a box trailer where they stored all of this equipment. So anytime they were going out on a Boy Scout troop outing, all they had to do was connect up the trailer and take off. Well, there was one day they decided that they were going to go out on a camping trip, and they went to retrieve their trailer from a local storage facility, only to come to find out that their trailer was gone. Can you imagine? Who in their right mind had the gall to steal from the Boy Scouts? Makes you sick to your stomach, doesn't it, folks? I'm at a loss for words. Who would do something like that? You can just imagine how these young scouts felt at that present time. When they're all excited about going on a trip, everything they worked for is suddenly gone. Of course, this made local news down here, and it's a good thing it did, because this story, believe it or not, folks, had a wonderful ending to it. Thanks to the fine folks at our local Gander Mountain in Snellville, Georgia, they stepped up to the plate and replaced the Boy Scouts camping equipment. And not only that, their local Academy Sports and Outdoors in Forsyth County also stepped up to the plate and donated a $5,000 gift card for these young men to get them back on their feet. You know, you can get choked up, folks, just talking about this. You know, you don't hear stories like this all that often. But I think it's a good learning lesson also for these youngsters, because we all know campers are the best people in the world. They take care of each other. They look out for each other. They do the right thing. They believe in doing the right thing. And that goes for scouts, too. I am so delighted to see two wonderful organizations, Gander Mountain and Academy Sports and Outdoors, stepping up to the plate. You know, they felt like they had to do something, and you know, and I don't blame them. That's wonderful. It really is. And by the way, in case you don't know it, we are an affiliate of Gander Mountains. The Happy Camper Radio Show is, yes. If you go to our homepage, happycamperradio.com right now, you'll find a Gander Mountain ad right there on the homepage. All you've got to do is click on that, and it'll take you to their website. And anything that you purchase on the Gander Mountain website, you are helping to support this wonderful radio program. I don't do endorsements all that often, folks, but if you're going to be doing any type of shopping for camping equipment, consider Gander Mountain and Academy Sports and Outdoors. These are two very wonderful companies, very community-oriented, and they definitely deserve our business. You know, I want to see if I can get in touch with these scouts here. I would love to have them on the program, or maybe even possibly the Scoutmaster. I'll see what I can do. But I just felt that I had to share that with you folks. And by the way, for the individual who had the audacity to steal from the Boy Scouts, all right, I've been in law enforcement for nearly 2 decades. And one thing I have seen over and over again, criminals aren't too bright. Something is going to happen. They usually leave their calling card behind, and if not, they find it necessary to brag about what they did. They end up telling somebody, that person tells somebody else, and next thing you know, they end up getting caught. And this individual, I can guarantee you, is going to get caught. And when he does, I can guarantee you this, he is going to be doing some camping of his own in a 6 by 8 foot jail cell, hopefully for a very, very long time. All right, folks, on today's program, we're going to be talking about how to protect your investment. If you own an RV, you want to protect that investment and make it last as long as you possibly can. Well, Len is here to talk with us today. He is from RVCamperCovers.com, and we've got him on the phone. Let's talk to him right now. Len, welcome to the program. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Skip. Thanks for having me on today.
It's my pleasure. Before we get into the products and services that you have to offer, we had an opportunity to talk ahead of time, and I understand you're a big-time camper just like myself.
Yes, indeed. In fact, my girlfriend introduced me into camping and backpacking a couple of years ago, and we took our first camping trip at Sleeping Bear Dunes in Michigan. And then about a few months later, she took me on my first backpacking trip. So we went into the woods for 4 days, a through hike up at Pictured Rocks in Michigan. And from there, we've actually spent a few more adventures beyond camping, living in a camper van. One trip was a 12-day camper van venture from Melbourne, Australia to Sydney, Australia. And we drove up the coast for those 12 days. And our most recent and longest camping adventure was another camper van excursion in New Zealand, where we actually lived in the camper van for 2 months, exploring the South Island and the North Island, and just going across the entire country. So a lot of experience in the woods, a lot of experience in the RV camping world, and it's definitely always fun to sort of disconnect from reality and get back to nature and do a little traveling that way.
Len, one of the things that you are blessed with, now I consider myself an old-timer. I've been camping for a long time, but all the women that ever crossed my path in life, none of them liked camping. I guess I was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. But, it's not going to stop me. It never stopped my kids. My kids loved camping. They loved going out and spending time with Dad. Of course, they're older now and they're doing their own thing. But, hey, I enjoy going out anytime I get an opportunity. And with the weather starting to warm up a little bit, if we can just get this rain to go away, we'll be fine. The rain happens to put a damper on it, on the camping trip any time. That's, of course, if you're a primitive camper. But if you're in an RV, if you're in a motorhome, or if you're in a truck camper like the one I had, a fifth wheel, you're good to go. You can just ride out the storm, and then when the weather gets nice, you're good to go out camping and hiking and doing anything else you want to do.
We did get stuck one time in a rainstorm in Thailand when we were hiking, and they had warned us about the leeches during that time of year, and we were soaking wet. I mean, from top to bottom, my shoes, all of my clothes just completely drenched. And when we got back to the parking lot, we then had the arduous task of picking all the leeches off of our clothing and skin. So the weather is always an interesting experience, no matter what time of year or location in the world.
And you're going to have some challenges from time to time. I can say this much, being out camping in the wilderness and setting up the tent and setting up all my gear, I can't even begin to tell you the number of times I had to bring my equipment home, take it in the backyard, and dry it out. More times than I care to know about. But anyway, Len, you have got some fantastic products that I think anybody who owns an RV would be pleased to know about. You are with RVCamperCovers.com, and why don't you take a moment to tell us a little bit about your business and what you have to offer for people in the RV industry?
Absolutely, Skip. So basically, we here at RV Camper Covers are dealing in basically all kinds of covers for your recreational vehicle, your camper, your trailer. Real briefly, at the moment, we have everything from Class A, B, C, fifth wheel trailers, toy hauler covers, folding camper, pop-up camper, and truck camper covers. We're actually right now in negotiations with another manufacturer to add on some accessory covers like wheel covers, propane covers, windshield, AC, etc. And what we do is we help listeners like yours, people who own a recreational vehicle or a camper, protect that investment because, as a camper yourself, that some of these vehicles can cost a small fortune. And without the proper protection, and I know we're going to talk a little bit about this more in a few minutes, but without the proper protection, especially from the sun and UV, you could damage your vehicle. So we basically have a variety of products ranging from the most economical up to, of course, the premium, quote-unquote, Cadillac version, and everything in between. So we have something for, somebody who's just looking for something simple to cover their vehicle with, or something that's going to be waterproof, UV protectant, 5 layers with a 5-year warranty. So we basically cover all spectrums of the cover industry.
Okay, well, I got to stop you right here and point this out. There was a time, and I've talked about this on the show occasionally in the past. I own a truck camper. I bought it brand new back in 1998, and it was one of those items that I could not buy and hide it from my wife. All right, I just had to tell her, look, I want to get this. Here's what it cost. I know you're going to probably think I'm crazy for doing it, but I had a truck and I wanted to put a camper on top of it. So I went up the road here and I talked to this guy, and he says, oh, yeah, we've got campers that'll fit on the back of a half-ton pickup. And, we just got to, beef up the back end of it a little bit. But, hey, we can do it. And 30 days later, I had my camper. And I love that. I spent more time, I think, in the camper the first 3 months than I did at home in my own bed. But I was enjoying it. I was loving every minute of it. And, folks, take note of this here, what Len is talking about, and it's so very important to protect that investment. And like he says, this equipment is very expensive. Go to any campground. I don't care where you go. You're going to see motorhomes. You're going to see travel trailers. You're going to see fifth wheels, truck campers, pop-up campers, you name it. And people invest a lot of money into these products. And if you don't take the time to protect them and make that little investment in order to protect the longevity of that product, you're going to wind up in a situation just like me. And it didn't take long. It took a few years, and I don't consider that long. But eventually, water ended up leaking in between the walls of my truck camper. And we know, Len, what water damage can do. It's like a virus. It just spreads everywhere. And to this very day, now I haven't used that truck camper probably in about 3 years, because I am in the process, in what little spare time I have, trying to get it fixed up. And I'm going to eventually sell it, and that's not before I take a couple camping trips in it. And you never know, I might want to keep it after all anyhow. But I will. Mm-hmm. This is a very valuable lesson to learn, folks. And it's a lesson you shouldn't have to learn. You should take the time to protect your product, especially when you sunk a whole lot of money into it. I never thought 1 minute from the very beginning that I could have my RV, we'll go ahead and call it exactly what it is. That's a recreational vehicle. But if you don't protect it and that water gets inside there, it could get in the roof, it can get in the walls. All it takes is a little small hole, and it's going to spread. And you're going to have a situation like I have, and you're going to be spending a lot of money and a lot of time trying to get it fixed up. So, take that to the bank. Believe me, you will pay the price if you don't take the time to protect your investment.
Yes, Skip, and I'd like to point out, I grew up in New England, and when I came out west and did some traveling here in California, I was blown away how much sun damage the vehicles in this part of the country get. Being from the East Coast, we have a lot of rain and clouds and snow, and being now out on the West Coast, it's primarily the opposite. It's almost sunny all the time. And I'm constantly seeing vehicles where the clear coat has completely just been damaged, and the paint is faded and chipping and rusting. And it became aware to me that a product like a vehicle cover for your RV, your camper, etc., is not just, to keep the elements out like the rain and the leaves, but more so importantly to help protect it from sun damage. And like I said, I have never seen, this is absolute truth, I have never seen so many vehicles with sun damage coming out for the East. So in talking about your experience with water damage, we do have a line of covers, a selection of covers that are waterproof. But beyond being waterproof, there's one important factor that the consumer needs to look at, and that's whether or not the cover is a breathable fabric, okay? It's one thing to be waterproof and prevent water from getting under the cover, But as seasons change and temperatures change and you get condensation and moisture underneath the cover on top of the vehicle, if the cover doesn't have a breathable fabric, that condensation and moisture is just going to retain there. You'll run into problems with mold. You'll run into problems like you had with water leaks, etc. So, beyond UV protection and beyond waterproofing, you also want to find something that's a breathable fabric.
And you talk about sun damage. And if you don't have that breathable fabric, then it's going to have an effect on the paint that's, covering that beautiful RV of yours too.
Correct.
So, it could be the sun. It could be, not using that breathable fabric. So I'm sure you've done your homework on all this here and, to come up with the very best product you possibly can for your customers. I know when I go camping, and I spend a lot of time in public and private campgrounds. Of course, there's some times I like to be by myself and venture off into the woods. But you can't help but to look around and see some of these beautiful rigs that people bring into these campgrounds. And I know there are some folks out there who want to live like the Joneses, and they ended up getting a product that they can't afford, and unfortunately later on have to sell it. But a lot of the products that I see, the motorhomes, some of them today, the way they're making them, wow, they're very beautiful, but they're very expensive too. And I can understand why people would want to protect that investment.
Absolutely, Skip. And there's something that I wanted to do as a special thank you for having me on your show today, something very special for your listeners, for your audience, and that is to offer a unique 10% discount off all of our products at rvcampercovers.com. And if somebody comes to the site and they purchase a product, when they get to the credit card payment page, there's going to be a little box on there that says discount code. And I've created a very special code for your audience. It's Happy Camper, all one word. And if they enter that discount code, Happy Camper, again, all one word, into the discount box, you'll get a 10% discount off of the retail price for those products just for listening to this show. I do want to note that we do have free shipping across the entire United States, and our friends to the north in Canada have not been left out. We can't offer free shipping to Canada, but it's a very reasonable flat fee rate, but we do ship to Canada as well. So once again, it's Happy Camper, all one word. That's the discount code if anybody buys through rvcampercovers.com.
Well, Len, I tell you what, I thank you so very much on behalf of all of our listeners. That is a very generous offer that you're making. But, at the same time, I hope that, the folks that do listen to our program that are traveling in RVs and motorhomes and truck campers like I had, you take the time and do your research and go to the website, rvcampercovers.com. And it's a wonderful website. I've got it up here in front of me right now, and you'll get to see exactly what Len is talking about. And if you don't already have something to protect your investment, now would be a great time to visit that site. That website, once again, is rvcampercovers.com. And when you get to the credit card section, you put in the discount code, which is, again, Len, Happy Camper.
Happy Camper. Yes,
all
sir.
one word. Is that all lowercase? Or does it matter?
It shouldn't matter, no.
Okay. Just make sure that when you purchase your product, you put in Happy Camper to take advantage of that 10% discount. Now, Len, the products that you do have, is it important for the person who buys these to carefully measure the vehicle or the pop-up camper or the truck camper? Do they need to go out and take measurements, or do you have the individual manufacturer's information right there at hand where you can go ahead and get them the perfect size cover for their vehicle?
Sure, Skip. So we basically have two resources. Well, actually, one resource and a secondary item I'll talk about here in a moment. But on our website, there is a section called Cover Sizing, and it gives you some ideas of all of the different size vehicles and how to measure your vehicle to make sure that you get the right fit. Then, when you get when you choose a product that you're looking for, whether it's if it's for a Class A and you want the Cadillac version, once you get to that product page, from there will be all of the size configurations to choose from. So again, we do have the cover size guide to give the customer a frame of reference on how to measure the vehicle and from which angles, and then they can go ahead and select the appropriate size once they get to the product page.
Okay, so it's important to note that they're not one size fits all. You know, you've got to you've got to first of all identify the vehicle or the camper that you have, and make sure you've got those measurements at hand. And you can put all that information on the website. How long is the turnaround time? Do you usually get them out pretty quick?
Yeah, we our shipping turnaround is usually between 5 and 7 business days, depending on stock availability and the responsiveness with our manufacturers. So relatively low turnaround time.
And for our folks over here on the East Coast where I live, you know what we've been dealing with here as far as rain goes. So if you haven't already taken the time to protect your investment, now will be the time to get in touch with Len and do what you need to do to go ahead and get that camper cover or that truck camper cover, whatever your vehicle you've got, and get it protected. It's so very, very important. Len, I want to take this opportunity to thank you for taking the time to sit down and talk to us about RVCamperCovers.com, and more importantly, for sharing that special discount code of 10% by simply entering Happy Camper, one word, in that box at the time you check out and purchase your camper cover. Len, thank you again so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Skip. Thank you, everyone.
Well, there you have it, folks. You don't want to learn the lesson that I learned. If you own an RV, you definitely want to do what you can to protect that investment, and hopefully it's going to last you a very, very long time. I'd like to thank Len for being on the program today, and by all means, get in touch with him at RVCamperCovers.com. You can find them on the web, and make sure you take advantage of that 10% discount offer. It's time now for our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. Yep. This week, we're going to run out to the state of Texas to Live Oak Ridge. It's part of Belton Lake, run by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. And it is our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. Live Oak Ridge Campground is located on Belton Lake, which provides some of the best fishing, camping, and boating in Central Texas. It's a year-round campground and accommodates both tents and RVs. They have quite a few facilities out there. They have a playground, a hot showers, drinking water, laundry facilities, a group meeting area with free wireless internet. Now, Belton Lake was created by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers back in 1954. It's a 12,300-acre lake located on Leon River. There's a lot to see and do out there. With 136 miles of shoreline, Belton Lake offers a wide variety of recreational activities. They've got camping, water recreation, picnicking, nature trails. The facility has one multi-lane boat ramp, which incidentally is closed right about now for reconstruction. I noticed a little tab there on the website that talks about that. But they do have hiking trails available adjacent to the park at Miller Springs Nature Area. The park offers 48 sites that range from wooded to open sun. All campsites have water and electric hookups, plus a covered table and grill. Check out their list of activities and amenities right there on the website. The gatehouse is open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Check-in time is 3 p.m. and checkout time is 2. Remember to protect your forest from tree-killing pests by buying your firewood locally and burning it on site. For more information, check the link out on our website, don'tmovefirewood.org, for more information on that particular important topic. It's a great place to go camping, a great place for year-round camping. Anytime you want to run out to the state of Texas, consider Live Oak Ridge. It's our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. Of course, if you have a campground that you would like for us to feature on the program, I'd like to hear from you. Get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com. Make sure you include a link to the campground website. Folks, that's about all the time I have for today's show. Feeling so much better. I think I'm going to go outside and take in some of that cool spring air. Feels so good. Makes me want to go camping right about now. Remember, my friends, every pet deserves a loving home. I want you to do exactly like I did. Visit your local shelter and adopt a pet today. You can find us online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at www.happycamperradio.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker. Add us to circles on Google+. And now subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Happy Camper Radio Show is a presentation of Skip Huber Productions. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper and feeling so much better, too. My job, of course, is to make a happy camper out of you. I'll talk to you next week. Have a good one, everybody. You're listening to Happy Camper Radio.